Hello, everybody. Waiting. So somebody join us to this live session, live streaming of drawing a cover. Be drawing a cover live today. So I'm sorry, I'm looking at monitors here, checking everything's okay. Just let me know if you're connected. Please let me know if you're. Hola Pablo, ¿cómo te va? Avísame si se escucha el audio, así me quedo tranquilo. Ok. Perfecto. Acá me dice YouTube que tengo que cambiar el setting. No sé si se está viendo, si se está viendo bien. eh, pero vamos a cambiar el setting porque me dice que tengo que transmitir a más. Hola Pablo, ¿qué tal? No sé cuánto delay habrá. Ahí veo que hay tres personas. Bueno, chicos, eh, thank you, everybody. I don't know how. I don't see the connected, um, who are connected or not. I'm. Hola, ¿qué tal, Joel? Saludos también. No veo quiénes están conectados porque YouTube no muestra eso hasta donde yo sé. O yo no. Dice que hay cuatro personas viendo, pero no puedo saludarlos porque no sé quiénes son. If you're talking in English, if your English is your language and you are there, please let me know because I didn't know that YouTube doesn't let me know who is connected right now, which is a complicated thing if I want to say hello to. Anyways, hello to everybody. Let's see what we have here. I see four people connected, two views. I don't know if, yeah, let's see. All right. What we have here, it's let let's start from the beginning. This is a project that I'm doing for independent publisher, which is a very it's a very complex kind of project. It's a project that includes animation, a comic book, possibly a video game. I don't know where the possibilities are. But this what I have here is the initial sketch. This was something like this at the beginning. This is what is sent to the publisher so they can check all the composition. And with the composition here approved, I can move forward to start working on the final pencils. The thing is, when I do this character composition, I try to give an idea of which characters are which because these characters has a particular color, each of them, and which characters are going to be in the background, what is my idea of what I'm going to do with the colors. I mean, the separation between which is the more important character and which are not. What I think is when I send this kind of thing is for an initial approval, but because of the dynamics on this kind of sketches are plenty of what I want to see. I don't want to lose that kind of I don't want to lose that kind of dynamics on a project, on a cover, on a comic book page. So what I do is transform this into a template here that I can apply to the final page as a layout here. So I can use this layout to start working on the pencils. I can, reduce the opacity so I can, it doesn't be, so it's not too invasive. So what I can start drawing the figures in a way that I can not be affected by the original drawing, which is mostly not in the perfect, shape, not yet at least. So how I do that? How I do that? Okay, what I do is, sorry if I'm going a little slow. Sometimes I'm slower because I see that some people that are just coming. And if I move the head like this, is because I'm trying to read the messages. I better put the messages somewhere else. I'm so sorry. Oh, sorry guys. It looks like I guess I was caught because I moved the messages from one screen to another, and OBS just collapsed. Can you please let me know? Saludos, Lex. Uh, can you please let me know if you're hearing me, if you're looking at, if you're watching right now, if everything is okay? Because I tried to reconnect with the same broadcasting. I hope you're still there. Anyways, I'm going to show you what I do to make this drawing uh, transform this drawing into a template that I can use on a page. What I want to let you know is that this was done in a very let me see, but the image resolution of this is 400 dpi, and this is really small, like 7 by 11 inch. What I'm trying to do is I want to pass it here. It's already here, of course, but this is a page, is a final page for the final drawing. So this is a 600 dpi 11 by 17, which is a bigger page, a bigger dpi with a bigger resolution. So what I do is I take away everything that is bothering me here. Like for example, these shadings. I don't need these shadings. I just need the shapes. Maybe I may use this a little so I can have an idea how the shape of the background is going to be. But with this, it's useful for me for transform this in, I mean, pass this into a template and use the template as a base layout, a base sketch for the final art. What I'm gonna do, so in order to convert this into a template, is I'm gonna raise the background paper, the format, the panels, all the other layers. I'm gonna flat this layer. I'm gonna take any rulers, like a symmetrical rulers or perspective ruler. I'm gonna erase that. Of course, I'm not going to save this image again. I'm just going to use it like this to convert it to a template. And I'm going to transform this into a template. I'm going to use this template like it's like this template is a transparent template. It's just gonna use the image to apply it and adjust it to any size that is in proportion. It's the same proportion that this paper I'm using. This is an this is also an 11 by 17, but proportionally reduced and reduced on DPI on the resolution as well. What I'm going to do is, when I transform this image into a template, this template can be applied in any other image that you can create. But if the other image is the same size, is the same proportional size, no matter how big it is, once if you just share the same proportion, it's gonna be fit exactly in the same place. Okay, so I'm gonna name this cover one anyway. I already did it, but I'm gonna do it again so you can see it. Put it cover one, and I'm gonna put it in this folder here called Solomon number one, which is the name of the comic. Okay, as you can see here, this is the one that I already have. This is the one I have created. So when I go back to my final page, I mean, this is the final resolution where I'm going to work from now on, doing inks, then colors, and all that stuff. I'm going to drag this to here, and I will have it exactly in the same place. It's exactly placed in the same spot. I didn't lose anything. This image is, as I say, much bigger than the other one, but anyways, it remains in the same proportion, which is, that is what I do with any sketch that I create. As you can see here, there's a lot of sketches. These are all thumbnail sketches, right? These are all of them, the pages of this comic book from page 1 to page 20. For example, if I would like to do one page, I'm not going to do any page today, but if I want to do a page and I drag one of these here, it will create the initial sketch so I can start working on the pencils. So that's the same for any other sketch that I do. This is very useful because maybe you don't want to use an image that is so, heavy and in bytes and megabytes or gigabytes. You want to use a small image. You want to use like just a really quick sketch with dynamics and stuff, and you want to do it really fast. And then when you transform that quick sketch into a template, that will rescale in this full resolution page, and you can start working from that. Many artists did that in the past, like photocopying and resizing it to a final page or something. This is not new. This is just a way to do it in this kind of software, right? And the thing is, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to just pass and resize it yourself or you transform it yourself. No, it's automatic. You transform it into, and you will ask why this is looking like a blue line here, which is not something that is automatic. I prepared that. This folder here has the property to show anything that I put inside like a blue line sketch. This is and it is also in an opacity, half the opacity, so I can. But if you see, it's exactly the same sketch, but inside this folder is gonna look like this, like a blue line. And you can do that by, if I take any image, you can do it in a folder, in any layer. If I take this layer, for example, and I touch this button here, it immediately gives me this color as the default color for the blue line, but I don't like it, so I can change it here with my own blue line colors and all sketch color that I use. I can choose this one or this one. I use this one off very often, but this one is gonna work. You see, and you have it. It's very easy. But if you apply it to one layer, the other layers will look with colors or whatever they have. So what I do is, instead of putting in the layer, what I do is I put it in the folder. So whatever I drop inside the folder is gonna look like this, right? So the folder is already preparing the half the opacity, and I'm gonna throw this to the trash, and I'm gonna throw this to the trash as well, as I already have this before we start before I start the streaming. So now I can hide this part. I don't need it. I can work freely here. I'm gonna turn this off. I'm not gonna save this at all. This will be a mistake. So I don't save it. Just use it for the template, and it's fine. Now I'm gonna work on the page. So what I'm gonna do now is, you will see I'm pretty organized with my layers here. I'm not one of those artists. I'm sorry, I'm gonna move this camera. I'm not one of those artists that like to just drop layers one and over and over and over. Those who study with me when I give my coloring workshop, they know what I'm talking. They know what I'm talking because I urge them. I ask them to be organized with your layers, because you will have a lot of things going on, and you don't want to be unorganized, deorganized. I don't know how to say it in English, but you don't want to be a mess, because you will not understand where you are standing, where I am, where is the layer with the sketches and the stuff. No, what I do here, and because this is line art mostly, this is not color, this is a little less messy. We you can have all kinds of steps before the final line art. Okay, your final line art maybe is just pencils. Your final line art maybe is inks. So you will decide when you stop with your sketches, and you will start with the cleanup, right? Here, I'm going to work possibly with final pencils, and I will color the final pencils directly. I will not going to use inks, because this is a cover, and I want to be more, and I want to make it more organic. So I'm not going to use the final ink. I mean, you can use whatever you want. Actually, the covers are plenty of styles, and all the whatever you decide. But I would choose this time to use it like that way, because I like it more. At least that time. I don't know. Maybe in another comic book I do inks and then color. I don't know. This is for this cover. I'm going to use it that way, that process. What I wanted to say is, you will add all the layers that you need. I usually put the format. The format is, you know, this is the format. The crop marks, the inside box, the outside box, the information of the page. I will always put that in a sandwich in the middle of the pencils, over the layout. And this little folder here are selections, because we don't have in Clip Studio, we don't have any channels. So when you save a mask or a selection in Photoshop, you create immediately, automatically, a a channel. Here you're going to create a selection. You will be it's going to be called like selection layer. That is this is the place where I'm going to store the selection layers. Okay, inside this folder. This can be here or whatever. It's just out of the way. But in the middle is going to be the format, because if I want to work with inks or with the final uh, line art, I don't want these boxes be over. I want to be the line art to be over the format. The same way that you, if you have a printed page in your hands and you're going to work with the page. I mean, you want to work with pencils, you want to cover those lines. You don't want the lines to be over. So I put it under instead of over. I'm not going to have panels here because this is not a comic book page. And I don't know if we're going to have inks, but I'm going to have possibly a cleanup. Cleanup line art is like inks, but as I said, it's gonna be pencils this time. I already have a folder called pencils, and I already have a folder called sketches. You see here, this is already prepared with a lot of panels going on, but this is not gonna happen because I'm not gonna have any panels. This is just a cover, okay? I'm gonna let it like this. Nothing inside, not yet. Layouts will contain this layout. I'm gonna erase this empty layer, and I'm gonna start working on the sketches here. Every time you're creating a layer, it's gonna create in Clip Studio. It's gonna be created with a preset type of layer. For example, if I put new here, new layer, you'll see the preset is gray. This is the property of the layer. You can have a color layer, a gray layer, or a monochrome for inking. I'm going to use gray because this is going to be not color. I'm not going to use any colors, and I'm going to use just pencils. So whatever used as a pencil is going to look gray. Right now, these two layers are with the property of being or showing blue lines. Okay, but I'm going to turn it off for now. I'm going to turn that off, and I'm going to start working on the figures. So right now, the layout layers is a little too much showing, so I'm going to reduce it almost to nothing, so I can create the first figures here. As you see, this is going to be more like another sketch, but this is going to be a sketch that have all the appropriate shapes and scale and all the proportions that you will not have in a quick sketch. So what I'm going to do is the first thing that I'm going to do is another sketch, well, with all the proportions in place, and more like in this stage I just don't care how many lines I dropped. I just prefer to have more lines and indicate myself how the volumes are of everything that I really need, right? Like the fingers, how much space are taking, how moved are these fingers, the angle of the knuckles, and all that stuff. It is important for me to understand these volumes because I'm not going to use it later, just going to clean up over them. So it's better to have it right now. It's like a wireframe shape from a 3D program. right? So when you create these kind of shapes and you see that is something out of proportion, you can correct it, or you can start throwing some shapes, some basic shapes, so you can see if you're actually doing it right. I understand this is a for kind of a foreshortening shape, but then the shoulder is gonna be a little further away from where it should be. So I understand that because of the pose, the shoulder is gonna be pushed to the front, right? This character was not designed by me initially, and this is a boy. It's not. I mean, it's an adolescent boy. It's like a teenager, but he's not. He's not a big teenager. He is the smallest of the crew, and he's the more powerful, anyways. But this is in shapes, he is smaller. As you can see, if I follow directly the under sketch that I put here, the layout, the hand is gonna be too far away from the shoulder. So what I gotta do is correct this because it was fine for the dynamics that I wanted to show with the layout, but it's not gonna be okay with the final shape. So I gotta be really, really, really mindful of the movement of the shoulders and what is gonna be shown here and how much the torso is gonna be twisted. So I better use a midline here so I can understand where it's gonna fit, where the torso is gonna fit in the figure because of the movement of the shoulder. If you can see, the other arm is way back, and I don't want this to be weird or something. And I understand that I have another foreshortening here. You see, when you put the image, if you zoom away from the image, you will realize where you are. So we have a middle line here with this the thorax. Oh, I don't know how to say it in English, but yeah, it's the middle part of the torso, the front part of the torso, and the spine here will give us the idea of where the spine is going to be hiding because of the perspective, right? You're not going to see the whole spine because in the perspective that it is the torso is moved back, but actually he's going front, which is I don't know what was that sound. I still connected. I better check this. Yeah, I think I am. I think I am. Okay, guys. Anyway, I see that I have some. I don't know how many viewers are right now. Maybe three. I don't know if it's this perfectly accurate. Hello, are you hear me? I don't know what's going on with the sounds. Something is going on with something. I don't know what's happening. Oh, messages. Right. Well, I gotta continue now with the hips. It's important that you can build the hips in a very conscious way. You have to remember the hips are not going to be something that is moving. It's not bland, or it's not something that you actually move. Everything else moves. The hips follow the movement of the rest of the body. The hips itself does not have a proper movement, right? When you move the legs, you move the torso. It gives you the idea that the hips are moving. But actually, they are not moving. You're just moving the lower part of your body or the upper part of your body. So, and the hips are not bland, which is really a strong bone. So, and there is a limit that you always have to be careful. That is where the leg is gonna be bending, and the leg is not gonna bend so much that it's gonna take this part. It's like this part is gonna be always reserved, because this is the part of the bone that is gonna be always showing, right? Not gonna be covered with any skin or muscle, but there are muscles there, but you're not gonna see the muscles moving around and covering. This is a bone that you will see always. So the leg is gonna bend right here at this point, and the torso is gonna bend right here. So this is not gonna be a teaching class of drawing or something, but anyways, if it helps. So what I'm doing is just creating the shapes, three-dimensional shapes of this body. And let me show you something else that I always do, and it's very important for me. As I am very organized with the, I gotta move like this because I have the camera. I cannot see. Man, this is, I gotta polish this setup. Okay, okay, yeah. Let me show you something. What I have here, no, here, uh, is a folder where I save all the reference images that I've been using just for inspirational, you know, inspiration, references for everything, even heads, mouth, whatever that I have close. I mean, some knowledge that I don't have very clear, so something part of the script, part of the designs, mostly the characters design. Because the characters design are very important. So what I do is try to have it handy so I can see what I'm working with. These are all the new designs of the characters, and I gotta be. Has to be handy. This is the main character. This is the sister. Sometimes I just flip it to see how they actually look symmetrically, if they are same symmetries or not. How the weapons look if you look at to the other side, like a mirror. This is the mother, the brother, the sister, and the main character here. Well, I have all these references handy just in case, because I know I'm going to need it one way or another. So, even with the locations, all that stuff, that makes me feel a little more comfortable when I'm working. It makes me feel a little more um, reliable, because if I need something like the clothing, or some foldings that I don't understand, like a cape or a hood or something, I have those references handy, is better, because it doesn't stop me while I'm working, and I have to look for it in the internet or something. I just have it here and I'm prepared. Gracias, Ezequiel Di Sabino. Ese es por Ezequiel, ¿no? ¿Qué tal, Ezequiel? Bueno, muchas gracias. Gracias a vos por sumarte. Voy a continuar en inglés por si hay personas que estén viendo en inglés. No entiendo todavía bien la plataforma de YouTube. En algunas cuestiones han cambiado. Dice que hay 12 views, pero en realidad hay 4 personas concurrentes. No sé bien qué significa. Pero bueno, ya me voy a ir enterando. Por ahora tengo que continuar con el trabajo que estoy haciendo. La idea es, como hay mucha gente aquí en Estados Unidos que me sigue a muchos lugares que estoy yendo. Quiero hablar en el idioma que corresponde para que todos entiendan. De hecho, probablemente ustedes también entiendan inglés, pero ellos no entienden castellano y español. So, I'm gonna continue in my rough English. So what I'm doing here is trying to avoid drawing feet. No way. I'm not avoiding anything. I'm trying to see where to put it. That's it. That's the thing. Yeah, but so far it's going out of the page. So I got to do something with this. Maybe if I put it in perspective or something, I will see later. I'm not going to see it now. Just want to see if it works. He's going to have a sword like this and a sword like this, and he's going to divide the darkness from the heroes. So that's the idea, mostly. There are all the other elements here that they are really important. He has a cape. Well, this is like an inside kind of thing, but this character has a cape, and I didn't want it to make it like a Robin or Batman or something. I just want to make him look like a normal guy, teen that he's trying to understand. I mean, he has a lot of power, he has a lot of skills, but he's like not yet entitled to be a hero. He is like too impulsive. He's trying to pose himself more than what it is in real, because he's trying to show his parents that he's ready to be a hero. So the cape is not working like a hero right now. It's like it's going places that it's gonna be really difficult to control and not to step on it and fall to the floor. But this guy is not gonna floor. He's not gonna fall into the floor, or he's not gonna step on the cape. But the cape is not behaving the way that it should be in a hero kind of cape. So that was one of the ideas that I have for this for this character. But anyways, so I'm trying to have everything uh, thought or planned in the original sketch. As you can see, I'm not deviating too much from the original sketch and just trying to adjust shapes. Once you're been working in this industry, this profession for a long time, you realize that more or less you're going to do your quick sketches really fast and more accurate than you think. I'm not saying these are perfectly accurate, but they are more accurate than they used to be in the past. So I'm using the property in my favor. But anyway, you can always do whatever you want, you whatever rough you want, and you can use it the same way that I'm using it right here. So I'm trying to correct the angle of the face because I don't want his neck to be weird. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a ball for the head. And as we are in a digital world, why not use it, right? I mean, I can draw a ball, but it's faster if I just drop a ball. It's just a circle. Anyways, so don't get too pure, um, too complicated with art. If we use a circle, it's no AI. It's just a circle. Well, the way I picture this guy is with a nice. He has a long. He has like a chin that is a little longer because of the family. The family is very, they have a lot of chin, hero chin, but he hasn't. He's like he's showing he will have it in the future, at least for the initial designs that I have here. But I don't want him to look too much like an adult. I want him to look more like a child. I know he's a teenager, but I want to I want to respect the idea that he is growing and immature, but also kind of cute. I don't want him to look too aggressive. He is because he's a hero, he's a warrior, but I don't want he to be a Damien, for example. Damian Wayne. Actually, Damien has one sword. This guy has two. But anyways, Damien has one, but is more lethal. He can actually kill you. So far, what I know, these guys are gonna be fighting robots, and the robots are going to be here, actually, in the cover. There are some robot faces here, and they are like a cult here with other hoodie people. Guys, if you want to ask something, if you want to interact with the streaming, please do. So this doesn't have to be a boring thing of me just talking. If you want to ask things in Spanish, be my guest. I will respond to you. If I see, I just can't see if there are any English speaking viewers right now because it doesn't show me the people who is connected. I don't know how to look at that. I don't know where I have to look at that. I'm trying to see if there are people. I don't know. I don't know how to check that. Who is connected actually? But anyways, don't worry. I don't care. What I'm trying to say is, if you ask me something that is interesting for other people that is not uh, Spanish speaking, I would maybe answer in English. So, but if you don't understand because English is not your language or you don't handle it, just let me know and I will respond in Spanish. But please, yeah, be more interactive and drop any question that you want. I will say it in Spanish. Pregunten todo lo que quieran. Formen parte de este streaming y hagámoslo dinámico, así también se sacan dudas si tienen ganas o si quieren contar algo y lo hacemos un poquito más dinámico para todos y no se aburren conmigo hablando y nada más. A veces algunas poses de las cuales uno no está totalmente convencido pueden resultar un poco caóticas y por eso es muy importante esta etapa del dibujo. Es muy importante el sketch. Every time I complete one figure, what I do is try to put that figure inside a folder. So at the end, when I have like 10 figures in one page, I just have a better idea where I can find any of these characters. If you want, you can put the name of the character in the folder. I do these kind of things because I like to be um, more organizing everything, as I said before. But yeah, that's the idea. But I have a hand here which is really, really in perspective is more complicated than the rest. I have that hand there. You see, I'm not worrying about final looks right now. Actually, clothing is not complete. It's not the full suit because I'm gonna do that suit in the final pencils. I mean, let's call it the final sketch. Then when I do the final cleanup with the final pencils, I will use the same line for everything. Right now, the clothing, maybe I do it in another layer. Maybe that layer, I put the layer in some color or something so I can understand that is the clothing. But then when everything is blue line again and I start cleaning up, everything's gonna be mixed and blend each other, right? This is a style that I really like to work with. It's more expressive, more dynamic. You can adjust dynamism while you're working without having to, be thinking in how realistic it looks or how, you know, um, accurate with anatomy is. I mean, it has an accuracy because this is anatomy, anyways. Is more cartoony, um, simplified anatomy. But anyway, it is anatomy, anyways. But you don't have to be so complicated if you have to tweak something. So you don't have overlapping things or lines that are overlapping, and it creates complications in the final composition. And the priority for this kind of style is always expression, which is something that I really appreciate. I'm not saying that there is no expression in hyper realistic work or realistic or more realistic work with that I also like that kind of work, that kind of style. I really love that style too. But this kind of style lets you be more focused on the expression, which is something that I really like because there is a there is a thing for everything you want to do, and sometimes your objectives, your goals, is not only to show how good you are showing realism or portraying reality, but more portraying the movement of the reality, the action of the reality, something that happens because the dynamics are something from the real life. But maybe if you exaggerate a little of this uh, reality, you will see you can express, you can communicate, especially that instead of how real a character looks like. Sometimes in the story that you're telling, it's really important to show realism because it's part of the story that you want to tell, right? But sometimes it's not. Part of the story is the movement, the dynamics, humor, maybe. So that's the point that I need right now to check my references because I actually don't remember. I opened software by mistake. Sorry. Let me check this lady. What I'm looking at right now is this character here, which is the character that I was doing here. This one here. This is the mother. She looks a little chubby. looks awesome. And I need to pass this design here in my cover. Need to respect this design here. I was, of course, this. I mean, I'm not subjected to do exactly what the original designs are. I'm also trying to add my own point of view on how these characters should look, at least for the comic book. So some of the things that are in the original designs are not gonna be here in this in the comic book because I'm gonna change it or I'm gonna adapt it to my ideas. Of course, I'm gonna follow the suits designs and all that. All that is gonna be respected because it's part of the work. But maybe not exactly the foldings, not exactly the shapes of the body, um, and things like that. You know, it's more like it's a way that I can, speak my language in the comic book. But there is another thing. This is a new comic book. This is a new story. There is no animation yet made, made yet. But yeah, because this is the first time we are going to see these characters, I have two things. I have the possibility to show it the way I want and establish a point of view, and also I have the possibility to to add something to the mix when this becomes other kinds of project like animation, for example. We never know, but uh, there is nothing established completely, so that allows me to play a little more. Maybe my vision will take part of the what we are going to see later in the future with other kind of media, right? We don't know. Just just that. For one side is my responsibility to make it look really cool because we never saw these characters before. So I'm trying with this to make it interesting. I gotta be careful with the foldings because this character does not have a expandex or something like that. They are more like tunics in a superhero way, but tunics anyway. So we have a lot of foldings and stuff that is not just the shape of the anatomy, right? We need to see some fabric here. Sometimes what I think is maybe showing more fabric than I would love to, because I would love to see more body shapes that allow me to make it more dynamic. But there is like a negotiation there. I don't know how to say it in English, but negotiation of how much can I show of the anatomy and how much fabric and foldings I'm going to use. And my favorite, right? Because you never have to forget that you're telling a story. No matter if it's a cover or a comic book, you are telling a story. So you're always thinking not only to make it look cool, but to make it look appropriate for the character and what the character wants to communicate, right? Well, I think here, because of I don't have the other monitor here to show you at the same time, but I'm facing that I have to cover more of the anatomy that I wanted, but this is like part of the suit, and I cannot avoid using it. You see, more fabric I put on the character, for me, from my point of view, is less dynamic because I cannot put the skirt here so stick to the hip because it's a fabric, so I have to do something like this, and that little thing there uh, gives me less opportunity for dynamics. That is something that I don't like. I try to make them understand that reduce the amount of fabric is too much. It's too much for superheroes. But well, this is not my last. I mean, my word's not the last. So I do. I'm trying to make the client happy and be happy myself. So the idea is to make it look cool, whatever it takes. You see, from the original body shape, um, this character lost a lot. So I don't know why Google is trying to make me put my password all the time. Man. Sorry. Just a moment. I'll be back. I was trying to answer one of the messages by writing, but Google didn't let me through OBS. Well, what I have here is that the cape of this character is like overlapping the shapes of the female character behind. So I have to move a couple lines so it doesn't. You see, this it shouldn't happen. This shouldn't happen. Anyways, let me see. Chat. I gotta tweak a little of the cape here, so these two lines that does not overlap and making it look like the same shape. So I don't know how many of you are there right now, but just for making it more simple, the idea of what is um, working with this layout behind these characters here and start creating the shapes over those initial rough layouts is you got to think it like this way. When you do the layouts, the thumbnail layouts, they are like you're guessing how it's going to look. Then when you're going to the first sketches over the layouts, the first uh, final sketches, you're building. You're guessing, then you're building, then you're rendering. That's the idea of how this works. Sometimes when your guessing is good, you don't want to lose any of your guessing because when you were exploring the design, the composition, you got to some point that you get what you wanted. So you don't want to lose that because losing that will be losing dynamics, losing interest for the people who are going to see the comic. And if you already got, hooked in that idea, original idea when you were guessing how it's going to look, you better don't lose that, at least not too much. If you have to lose things like what you get when you're guessing, when you're doing the sketches, do it because you're justifying shapes that you cannot change. That's the only way, at least from my point of view. If not, if you're changing everything and you're trying to be super accurate or super realistic or whatever, you start losing that freshness that you get when you were guessing what is going to look. Remember, it's guessing, building, and rendering. You can get a love of any of those part of the process. I learned to be in love of each of that part of the process in one way or another. When you're building, it's interesting because you're creating 3D shapes more like characters, and you're trying to make you're trying to translate the idea, the style of the characters in three-dimensional shapes. And if you stay with that idea, uh, if you're interested in creating 3D shapes in a way that it looks real, um, it would be really fun to do. But if you start thinking on how it's gonna look at the end with the colors and with the whole rendering and all the stuff, you're gonna be feeling too anxious. Your anxiety is gonna be more uh, protagonist than the enjoyment of creating the shapes. So if you can focus on just creating the 3D shapes and making it look volumetric, you will have more fun. Right now, I'm trying to do that. I'm not thinking so much about the style. I'm gonna put the final style and all that when I start doing the final pencils. Right now, I'm just trying to make it possible and three-dimensional. That's the more important thing right now. Don't lose the dynamics and the freshness they get from the sketches, from the thumbnail sketches, but make it 3D, make it volumetric. So as you see, the weapons are going to be the last thing that I'm going to do, and it's going to take time. Maybe it's not going to be in this streaming because it's going to be too long. But anyways, just to give you an idea, weapons are like another language. It's something like more. If you care about the weapon, right? It's not just a couple lines of that stuff. If you're going to do something that is really important, like a lightsaber, for example, something like that, it's better if you take your time. Take your time on doing it correctly. Same with some part of the suits. If the suits are complicated or too detailed, you better take your time with that. So first, you can you can sketch it, you can set it there. Then when it's set, you will thinking on the details and stuff and all that. I don't know. They are think I think there are two people right now. Uh, I don't know. I don't know how to understand this. I think we have 22 views, but concurrent viewers are two. So I'm talking to two people right now. So that's what I think. It's not a bad thing. It's just I want to know. I came to a point where I need to check my original sketch, the original file where all the characters are separated here, because I didn't know how the hand of this character is taken. I now that now I understand, but just in case, I can isolate these characters. You see, so I can understand how these characters actually position behind this. I didn't remember that the leg was like this, for example. So I don't have all the layers. Yeah. It's not that it's going to be seen too much because there is a sword there. And this thing, she's taking this. She's the younger sister, so I don't have. I mean, she has really small body, and there is not. I cannot put some too much muscles and stuff. She's really small, so I gotta be careful with that. One of the things that happen when you're used to work with too many superheroes and monsters and stuff, then when you have to create a more natural scene or more natural bodies, you have some problems because everything looks muscular and big. And all the people are like this, and nowadays, all the heroes in the stories are looking that big. Not in the movies, of course, not in the movies. But yeah, even the comic books are trying to keep nowadays a more natural look of the bodies, not so absurd muscular thing, which somehow it could work really well. I don't know if it will work for all the characters, but for example, I always like to see Robin to be more like a slim figure, not so muscular. The same with Flash, the same with Spider Man. Well, Spider Man changed a long time ago, but I always like to see those characters more slim and not that big and muscular. I don't think it's needed. Not anymore. See, I'm going to show you something from my point of view of the designs. I want to show you something. Maybe it's useful for the people who will watch this recorded. But let me show you something here. Not in order to create controversy and who designed this, but one of the things that it's important to have when you want dynamic characters is not have straight lines like this. I mean, you can have a shoulder pad, but if it's come from all the back from to the shoulder, we're not gonna be, you know, possibilities of movement. If the arm have to move like this, it will crash in this thing here. So this has to be more like a rubber or something. But these lines does not create dynamism, and that can be problematic. This is another character. Sorry. That's something that you should be mindful of when you create characters. Does not You do not have to make volumes in the body that that can create a problem. You know. So in my version here, this character is gonna be more like this. I'm gonna keep the shoulder shape, and I'm gonna use one of the lines that the suit have to remark this shoulder better. You see? Something like this. I did the same with her here. Because I didn't want to lose that shape. It's important. I'm just tracing here, marking the I mean not tracing but marking the shapes of the chest plate. It's not with the idea of doing the same designs or be accurate with the designs. I just want to place it and see how it will look in three dimensions. I mean, this is not nothing of this is three dimensional, but you know what I mean. How it looks with certain volume. There's a lot of lines that you can use to create more dynamism and movement. It's very important to be mindful of where do you put these lines here. It does create energy to some place, in a direction of some place, right? And that kind of things are very important. As I said before, doing this style let me focus more on the dynamism and the expression instead of having been thinking that if these fingers can be real or not. Just shaping. You see, the bigger figure in the whole composition is gonna be the father. When the father is like the shadow of this character right now. He is like very like watching his son being more mature or being growing up, right? He's worried because his younger, I mean, his younger man in the family is getting a little rogue in his attitude. Uh, but he's just being witness of he growing up. It's just that he's overprotecting him a little. Not too much, because he is a little. It's a complicated guy, complicated young guy. When I'm making use of the digital here to correct foreshortening thing, I still think she has a. He has. I'm sorry. He has a very long forearm, and I will see how to correct that without compromising the sword that it should be here. We'll see. We'll see. Of course, it's better if I have it solved now than later. But it's getting a little messy. And because he is a teenager and a quite small teenager, we cannot use the pecs too much. You gotta be careful with that idea because he is not a bodybuilder or anything. It's just a regular small teenager. So, can some of you tell me if the transmission is going fine, if the resolution or image is clear. How do you think is everything looking? Is it looking good? Do I have to change something in the future? I'm being clear. Do you want me to speak more in Spanish? Tell me something. Don't let me alone. Well, here I have a situation because I didn't receive all the signs for all the characters. I have just an old design of the father, which is this guy here. I just wanted to put it there so I can know how much space it's gonna take. But I don't have any final. I don't have any final design for. I have a previous design of the suit, but I don't have the final. So I'm gonna put the character there, but I don't know how it's gonna look later. So I'm trying to put all the shapes, the mass shapes of the characters, the main characters, right? Which is this family, with this family of superheroes. So the idea is to have this shape it out, and then I can work on the background. I can understand what the background is gonna be. So we have the father here. Now we have the brother jumping here like crazy with his two big swords. Well, guys, I think I'm gonna make a pause because I gotta go to the restroom, and I will come back to you later. Um, See you in 5 to 10 minutes or something. I'm not gonna cut the transmissions. I'm gonna just cut the audio. Uh, so I'll be back really soon. Hola, hola, hola. ¿Qué haces, Luis? ¿Te sumaste? Bueno, dado algunas cuestiones que tengo que atender, eh, vamos a hacer una parte 2 de esta portada el día de mañana, porque estuve recién hablando un poco con la gente que hace esto y todavía no tenemos el diseño final de algunos personajes. Pero bueno, ha sido bueno para aunque sea plantar las figuras en una forma tridimensional. Podría terminar este stream simplemente terminando el personaje principal, que es el único que tengo posibilidad de hacer. Okay, let's go back to English for all those who are going to be seeing or watching this streaming later. What I'm going to do now is going to turn off the layouts and I'm going to turn off some of the characters that I'm not completely, they are not complete in designs right now. And I'm going to go to this one, which is the main character, and I'm going to try to clean it up because I do have all the complete suit design for this one. So I will try to clean that up and leave this streaming right here with this character completed. Um, Look at the references right now. See where I'm going with this. Again, this character lacks of shoulders because of the idea, the original idea of the suit. But I'm not gonna use that. I'm not gonna use that because it's not gonna be useful. It's not gonna be. I don't know why they did that, but as I can't do whatever I want, I'm gonna work a little better with the suit and stuff. Too much. This is too much fabric. Yeah. This character does not have any blows or anything. Just bracelets, or I don't know how to call it. What you have here. Um, but yeah, there are no bracelets. There are no gloves. Her sister or something. And they are going to be all masked in the cover. And they have a mask actually. Uh, because these are the final characters with the mask on. Yeah. Hola. Acá andamos, sin gente. Con Luis. Tuve que hacer una pausa. Necesitaba cumplir con necesidades fisiológicas. Y la poca gente que había se fue. Sorry. ¿Qué personaje es? Acá la gente ya sabe. La gente, la enorme cantidad de gente que está en este momento mirando, que se llama Solomon. Ya les conté a casi todos de qué se trata. Y acá estoy tratando de cerrar. El único dibujo que voy a pulir de todos los que tengo aquí, por lo menos en este stream, va a ser Solomon, de toda la portada, porque me faltan algunos diseños y voy a cerrar con el que tengo completamente terminado. Así que bueno, lo que voy a hacer es voy a pasar a Blue Line y voy a pasar a Clean Up. Voy a pasar a Pencil primero. Vamos a pasar a Pencils. Y ahora lo que voy a hacer, voy a Solo Man. No, es Solomon. Todo All together, my friend. Solo man. No solo man. Okay, yeah, I'm going back to English. No matter if your ears are hurt right now to hear me talking this rough English, but I gotta do it because I've been explaining this in English, so I'm gonna continue it until this streaming ends. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna use the same pencil that I was using here, but I'm gonna stabilize it a little, like going a little slower, so I can, I can make this line be more stream and more control. Okay. Many people talk about uh, why people use um, stabilization in computer software, in computer art software, and there isn't an answer to that. It's not because we are lazy or something. It's just the medium, the way. No matter if you have the best Cintiq in the world, the medium, the way that you put your hand is not the same as you do it in your drawing board, traditional drawing board. So the control is like you're drawing like this, maybe like this, but you never have the full movement of the hand of the arm. So the control is lower than you can have in a traditional media. So that's why they added that tool. We have to understand this is just a tool. It's not gonna make your lines look more beautiful. It's just giving you the chance not to have wobbly lines or imperfect lines or something like that. For cleaning up is perfect. Um, no matter what the purest people who doesn't like digital art will say. I don't care actually. I don't care at all. But yeah, that's one of the reasons. The other reason is that with your if you have the controlled stabilization, you can work really small and throw some perfect lines, and when you're close, the line is gonna be more accurate than if you do it without the stabilization, right? There are plenty of uses. None of them will make you work or draw better. So don't worry. You don't have to worry about that kind of thing. There are other things to be worried about, actually. So, I was saying there is more fabric here, more foldings and stuff because he has no one of the superhero kind of pants. He has no spandex. He has fabric. Lots of foldings. Well, I will not respect all those chunks of fabric because the character will end up not looking as dynamic as they want this character to look. You know, you can make a dynamic character from Lord of the Rings, but this is a different context, which is very against the idea, against the story we are telling. The character has so much fabric, like hanging from him all the time. It's too much. So I'm going to reduce that by doing the fabric to be more stick to the body. Not like spandex, but a little more tight. We actually help. As you can see, I didn't pass immediately to final cleanup because I'm not sure if in the pencil stage I'm not gonna find more things to correct or to adapt. So I will do as tight pencils as I can, but if I'm not happy with that, I will have an opportunity to make it look a little more tight in another stage. Right now, I'm going to try to complete the pencil stage that I'm not going to say is the final line art stage. Not so far. We'll see. But yeah. When a character has a lot of clothing, a lot of fabric and stuff, especially because this is a suit that has a lot of details. And if it wasn't so detailed, I'd maybe be doing the final pencils, the final line art right now. It may takes me one more step to have everything clear. Don't make mistakes. What I used to do is if I have a nice pencil in this part of the stage, I can copy that layer, put it in the final line art, and if there is something rough, I just erase it and I redraw only the things that I know that are going to look better if I redraw it. So I don't have to do all the redrawing again. Luis, no estoy escuchando música por la razón de que YouTube te da de baja los videos que tienen música con copyright y todo eso, y no tengo una playlist en donde la música no tenga copyright. Así que no estoy escuchando música en este momento. O sea, una vez me pasó en uno de los vivos que hice que como YouTube no podía quitar la música de uno de los canales, me terminó borrando todo el audio, incluyéndome a mí hablando. Entonces, para que eso no vuelva a suceder, preferí no poner nada de música. Por supuesto que sería mucho mejor. Well, as you can see, is pretty much this is the kind of line that I'm trying to get once the whole line art is complete. That's the kind of work I'm trying to get. Yeah. Right now, I'm in a kind of a conflict because I'm trying to adapt something that in the design is not absolutely clear, and I think it's gonna be complicated later to color and to understand. So I'm trying to adapt the shapes to a more, I don't know, more relatable kind of shapes. Um, as these kind of, yeah, these kind of mask a lot of those shapes that we are not ready. I don't know how to say it, but we are not ready to enjoy. Um, Sometimes when an idea, a concept is expressed by the client, even if it's, especially if it's representing a culture or something, the designer is trying to fulfill that vision in a way that the client is finally, happy. But that doesn't mean that this final design or this design is going to be fulfilling all the necessities of a comic book or animation or something, because they add too many details. They add like a lot of um, shapes that are not in a compositional design way to see it uh, useful, or you know does not transmit or communicate the dynamics that we want. Sometimes it's more complicated to understand by the client when the client is more focused on some values and ideas that he has, and not focus on the dynamics of a storytelling. I'm not saying the story by itself. The story must, a book, a novel can be amazing for reading, but could be terrible for storytelling, visual storytelling. That's why sometimes the adaptations are too strong, um, because they need to adapt it to a more visual kind of media. Books are more ideas that you can give shape in your mind, but when you're drawing, when you're telling story with images, you gotta be sure that you're portraying exactly what you mean, and you don't, because of what a client wants, you're not like uh, compromising the story dynamics, the entertainment of the reader or the public in any ways. Those things are more important than you think, much more important. The reader must not be um, challenged, especially the comic book readers, must not be challenged to understand all the shapes that you wanted to show. Because, yeah, in your mind, all those shapes work, but no, you have to understand that you're working for other people. And they need to understand those shapes the way they used to. Like it or not, you're using a language. And if you talk too weird, like me in English, people will go away. Like in this. No te preocupes, Simón, no te preocupes. Sí, queda para que lo puedas ver después. No te preocupes. Este, y de paso le podés poner mute al audio para que no me escuches a mí hablando en inglés. tenés, tenés, tenés ¿cómo se llama? Ventajas. Y gracias. Muchísimas gracias por aparecerte. Como a todos. It's taking shape, but I have to make some corrections later. It's taking shape. I like the mask, but as I say before, I don't want to make this look like a, Mexican luchador or something. Just, just want to make it look like a young teenager superhero. You know, that's not the idea. In the original design, the mask takes a lot of the head, and if you take away the mask and leave the just the flesh under the mask, you see that this guy has a too head that is too big. It's a really big head. So what I try to do is try to adapt the mask in a more traditional head. Actually, the designer did the mask over his head, but if you we have both without and with the mask. The one without the mask, it doesn't look that bigger of the head. I am a big head guy, and this is just a child. It doesn't have to have my big head. So so that, that's something I needed to adapt. I can show you that. Let me show you. You see, this guy here with the mask on have more head than this guy here without the mask. It's not the hair, it's the head. It's the size of the head. It's much bigger. It takes too much to come from the last hair here to the chin. And this is much more shorter than the other one. So I had to reduce the size of the mask. It was too much. So I did my own version here. But I still have to adapt something and correct something here before that is completed. We'll see. So this is the way it's looking right now, which is what I'm looking for. You see the lines with the pencil here. I really like this. Ok, Simón, ¿te parece si te contesto en inglés? Por si después hay personas que lo miran en inglés. Si no te llevas bien con el inglés, te lo contesto en castellano, en español, no hay problema. Ok, igual lo expliqué antes en inglés, así que te lo voy a explicar a vos en español. Así quedan las dos explicaciones. Yo utilizo mucho el boceto original, ahora vas a ver que es el layout, porque en el layout, lo que yo explicaba hace un rato es, tenés que entender el layout, el lápiz y la tinta o el lápiz final que vayas a hacer, el clean up final, como tres etapas. La primera es tirar a ver qué pasa. Estás estás adivinando, estás creando la composición, estás pensando en la dinámica y en la composición. No estás pensando en el armado, no estás pensando en las formas, no estás pensando en eso, estás pensando en la forma. Digo, tú estás pensando en la forma tridimensional, estás pensando más en la forma, en la figura, qué espacio ocupa en la página que es bidimensional, o sea, cuánto espacio negativo vas a tener, etcétera. Entonces, cuando estás armando el primer boceto, el layout o el primer boceto, tenés mucha más soltura y las dinámicas es muchísimo más descomprometida del resto de las otras cosas, que son el armado, la luz y la sombra, el volumen, ¿no? O sea, todo lo que tiene que ver con la anatomía, bla, bla, bla. Si te pones a pensar en todo eso cuando estás haciendo el boceto inicial, pues no terminas nunca, porque te complica la vida, tenés que pensar de menor a mayor. Entonces yo lo dije en inglés antes, es guessing, building y rendering, que sería como adivinar, ir viendo a dónde va todo, organizarlo. Después sería construirlo, darle la forma tridimensional que quede lo mejor posible, que de hecho es lo que estuve haciendo en esta etapa del trabajo, que vos no la viste porque recién llegaste, pero todos los personajes estuvieron tomando forma tridimensional, pasando de esto, que eran más bien rayones, que estaban bastante armados, pero igualmente necesitaban más volumen. Entonces pasé a esto, en donde tengo el volumen más o menos dinámico y que continúa, digamos, la misma dinámica que tiene el boceto original, pero ahora tiene la construcción encima, lo tridimensional. Y ahora lo que estoy haciendo es llevarlo a una etapa de rendering, que sería como la finalización de esa línea, para que la línea se vea bonita, para que funcione, para que me sirva para después darle color y que no sea, o sea, que mantenga el estilo, que no sea grosero, que no rompa, digamos, con la línea y que no sean rayones, básicamente. Pero para este estilo, ¿no? Hay otros estilos que son diferentes. Bueno, ahí te lo dije todo. Hay delay, así que no te preocupes. Así que te lo dije todo en español. Este, y esa es una de las razones por la cual me gusta trabajar así. Eh, Tu pregunta no sé bien de dónde vino, pero me hace acordar algunas preguntas o algunas veces que he escuchado, eh, cuestionamientos similares, no a mí, pero sí a otros autores, en donde decían que si tenían que trabajar tantas veces algo, o sea, pasar por tantas etapas de boceto y pulido, era porque no se sentían seguros. He escuchado ese tipo de tonterías durante mi carrera. Y me causa mucha gracia, ¿no? Porque en animación se utiliza mucho lo que estoy haciendo ahora. Y vos no le vas a decir a un animador que es una persona que está insegura, ¿no? Si hay alguien que está seguro de lo que hace, es un animador. Un animador tiene que saber dibujar mejor que todos nosotros 20 veces, porque tiene que hacerlo muchas veces seguida, todo el tiempo. Y ellos suelen usar mucho las diferentes etapas de pulido, basándose en rayones, en rayones iniciales, justamente porque esa es la forma en la que vos podés mover la figura de forma dinámica sin estar comprometido en si funciona realísticamente o no, si la anatomía está bien o no. Después te puedes preocupar de que todo funcione. Por eso es que en animación, por ejemplo, se hace mucho hincapié en los model sheet, porque los modelos de animación son los que te permiten después pulir todas esas figuras sueltas y gomosas en la figura final. Entonces el model sheet que te dice cómo es de frente, de perfil, de espalda, te permite ir con todos esos datos y poder pulir la figura como corresponde. Eh, yo en cómic trato de hacer más o menos lo mismo, incluso cuando es otro tipo de estilo más realista. Pero creo que es una forma sana de plantearte la narración, ¿no? Para mí, a mí me parece muy poco saludable tener que pensar en lo narrativo de una página si lo tengo que hacer pensando en todos los detalles que voy a tener. La narración debe sumirse a pocas cosas que digan y que comuniquen lo que se tiene que comunicar. Luego, luego está lo bello, luego está el pulido. Ahí estoy leyendo lo que me decís. Los que dibujamos de manera. Es que no se trata de dibujar de manera tradicional o no tradicional. No. Hay un malentendimiento. Esto que yo estoy haciendo acá, como bien lo expliqué antes, viene de lo tradicional, llevado a lo digital. No es que lo digital te permite hacer eso, porque, por ejemplo, lo que decís de la mesa de luz es algo que se usa en animación desde que empezó la animación industrial, y antes también. Pero bueno, desde que se empezó la animación industrial porque se crearon las mesas con luz para poder laburar de esa forma y pulir los bocetos. Pero es lo mismo que trabajes con un lápiz azul como este, que se puede borrar y que después arriba podés pulir los detalles. Yo sin este lápiz azul haciendo los bocetos en físico, no existo, como creo que cualquiera de mis dibujantes colegas. Hay que hacer el boceto para después pulirlo. No podés partir la nariz y terminar todo el dibujo como hacía el pobre fallecido artista coreano Kim Jong, ¿cómo es que se llamaba? Bueno, que era un genio, era un loco genio, pero no era un paso a seguir. Era un personaje, era una personalidad que tenía esa habilidad extraña, que podamos cuestionar algunas cuestiones que hacía el tipo. Kim Jong-il creo que era. Nos guste o no nos guste, había cosas que me gustaban, cosas que no me gustaban tanto, pero era un genio. Eso no significa que es la forma en la que las cosas se deben hacer. No sos mejor dibujante porque partís del ojo y terminás haciendo una ilustración de 500 personajes con fondo. No, eso no te convierte para nada en un mejor dibujante. O sea, si vos estás apuntando a eso, estás apuntando a una habilidad más que a un producto final. Es un skill, en realidad, y eso no sirve para nada. O sea, los skills están divididos en muchas áreas, no solamente en poder partir de cualquier lado y de ahí terminar en una gran ilustración. Los skills son muchos. Especialmente si sos artista de cómic, ¿no? Porque en el ilustrador, como que el ilustrador, lo que hacemos a veces portadas y esas cosas, es más fácil ponerse a pulir, ponerse a hacer mejores en el dibujo. Pero no podés repetir eso mismo en cada panel. O sea, solamente tipo como Alex Ross te lo hacen y te hacen un cómic cada 50.000 años. Porque son muy especiales y porque se entiende que hacer una cosa así es totalmente contraproducente con la industria narrativa. Es buenísimo para tener esa joyita, pero es una joyita que no necesariamente es la base de cómo tienen que ser los cómics, ¿no? O sea, sería imposible de reproducir. Y es un genio, todo, pero nada. O sea, Alex Ross es un ilustrador de portadas, de pinturas, etc. Es un genio de eso. Y me encanta cómo narra, pero no puedo esperar que el tipo me produzca un cómic así todos los años porque se nos muere. Yo no quiero, yo quiero que siga pintando. Así que bueno, nada. Bueno, nada, mira vos, es un chiste medio que no es un chiste, es un chiste que no es un chiste, pero una de las razones, hasta lo que tengo entendido, del fallecimiento de Kim Jong-il, es la sobrecarga de trabajo, la sobrecarga que tenía de actividad. Que el tipo parecía que no cortaba nunca, se la pasaba tomándose, no sé si no tenía problemas cardíacos, no quiero decir nada, pero especialmente parecía que no podía parar de tomar bebidas con cafeína para estar todo el tiempo despierto y poder seguir y seguir y seguir. Que, bueno, qué sé yo, no sé a quién le da el cuerpo para tanto. Pero el hombre no era tampoco un hombre tan jovencito. Y lamentablemente, bueno, era joven, pero no era tampoco un bebé, no era un niño. Y así todo no es recomendable, pero bueno. Y no es bueno, no es bueno esas prácticas. Por eso digo, el skill, los skills, tus habilidades se reparten en muchas áreas. Y una de esas áreas también puede ser que te cuides la salud, que cuides tu mente, que aprendas a hacer muchos tipos de cosas. Sí, bueno, qué sé yo, lo que decís en el último mensaje. Yo no me voy a tirar con artistas que muestran sus skills. Está buenísimo que los muestren. A mí me gusta mostrar que aprendí a pintar mejor que antes, que me gusta trabajar con técnicas físicas como el entintado o las acuarelas o lo que sea. Me encanta, me encanta. Pero no nos podemos sumir solamente a esa particularidad. Eso no es lo único. Entonces eh, qué sé yo, hay que aplicarlo. También hay otro skill, que es saber aplicar el skill, ¿no? Es decir, bueno, ahora esto que aprendí lo voy a poner en práctica en esto que tiene un significado. Por ejemplo, el Hulk que yo pinté hoy para Instagram no tiene ningún significado. Es una porquería, yo no sé. Es divertido, lo hice para divertirme, y nada, era para llamar la atención y contarles que iba a estar haciendo este video ahora. Y está fantástico. Pero eso no significa que ese es un trabajo para nada. Es simplemente para ver, para jugar con estos skills nuevos de pintar. Si quiero pintar una ilustración, como las otras que he estado pintando para comisiones y portadas y qué sé yo, pues tengo que tomarme un trabajo realmente diferente y tengo que poner en práctica muchas cosas que tienen que ver más allá de lo que puedas aprender a pintar. Está la composición, la narrativa, el uso del color, el uso de las formas, millones de cosas más. En fin, skills. Sí, qué sé yo. Nada tiene que volverse vicioso en ninguna materia. ¿No? Yo sé que lo que decís de Instagram está lleno de mostrar yo soy mejor porque empecé haciendo este moco y terminé haciendo esta maravilla. Bueno, no sé, qué sé yo. Hay mucha cosa. O puedo dibujar con dos manos. Esa es una que ahora ya quedó vieja, pero estaban esos tipos que con las dos manos dibujaban y que hacían cosas, qué sé yo. Ponerle que eran dibujos buenos, más o menos. Pero no es envidia. A mí no me gusta, no quiero dibujar con dos manos. Primero porque uno la tengo que usar en el teclado y la otra me sostiene los cuadernos, qué sé yo. Ahí los tipos tenían un dispositivo para poder trabajar con dos manos y mostrarle al mundo que podían hacer eso. Es todo se vuelve un circo, ¿no? Se vuelve el circo de donde yo muestro skills, pero no cuento nada. Bueno, excepto los buenos circos, pero... Y no me gusta mucho a mí eso, no me cae simpático, no me dice nada al final. Este, pero bueno. Igual te digo, prefiero ver skills a gente que dice que dibuja y no dibuja. Este, y te muestra o el dibujo de otro o algo que hizo con la inteligencia artificial, que no dibujó él y dice que lo hizo él. Eso no me cae nada simpático. Si usaste inteligencia artificial, al menos sé honesto y decir la usé y me sirvió para esto y chao. Pero de ahí de decir que es tuyo, ya no me cae muy bien. Este, esos son otros skills, que es decir, ser honesto. Gracias por lo de que quedó buenísimo. No entiendo bien a qué te referís con que empecé por las zonas oscuras. Este dibujo prácticamente no tiene sombras. No sé a qué te referís con... el Hulk, decís vos. Sí. No, bueno, esa es una técnica que le enseña bastante bien Alex Ross. Yo no me puedo adueñar de eso. De hecho, no me puedo adueñar de nada porque lo que aprendí, lo aprendí de Ariel, que fue mi maestro, y de lo que exploro viendo lo que hacen otros artistas como Alex Ross, que me fascina. Pero sí, esa técnica él la explica bastante bien. Va, la explica no porque él no tiene tutoriales, pero él la muestra bastante bien. Que él parte de setear lo negro puro o lo oscuro puro primero. Y después se preocupa por los medios tonos, o la primera base suave, y después empieza a ajustar. Ajusta todos los valores, partiendo de uno más clarito al más oscuro. Pero sí, arranca con lo que es puramente oscuridad o lo que en entintado sería como lo que es negro en el entintado, bueno. Pero casi bien lo que no tiene luz. Que trabaja la sombra primero y después empieza a darle forma. No, bueno, es una técnica muy copada, es una técnica media rara, aparte, porque normalmente un acuarelista empezaría por todo clarito y después iría ajustando y agregando oscuridad. Pero, viste, no necesariamente uno tiene que hacer lo que todos dicen que es lo que va. Es decir, simplemente si descubriste algo nuevo o aplicás una forma distinta, tenés que poder justificar que funciona. Nada más, que tiene sentido hacerlo así. Para mí, Alex Ross no solamente lo justifica, sino que la tiene mega clara con su decisión. Así que no hay nada que cambiar ahí. Sí, sí, la manera tradicional de trabajar la acuarela es muy importante cuando querés ir definiendo de a poco. Los trabajos de estudio y de producción necesitan que vos aceleres el asunto y vayas al grano. Y con una figura, cuando vos querés contar el dramatismo, la luz y toda la cosa esta que tiene que ver con el uso de la luz y la sombra en la figura, la tinta siempre ha sido un elemento muy rápido de saber, por eso el tema de las zonas negativas y positivas, ¿no? Las zonas negativas te dicen, esto es oscuridad y lo otro es sombra, acá hay contraste, es importante que mires, y acá hay pura luz, no hay demasiado para ver. O al revés, donde está la luz es más importante y donde está la sombra no hay nada para ver, está todo oscuro. Es un contraste buscado a propósito para llamar la atención y decir lo que tenés que decir de una vez por todas. ¿Por qué no hay tiempo? Porque en esta industria no es tan gratuito tomarse demasiado tiempo para hacer una ilustración. Y Alex Ross entró a combinar un montón de cosas que veía de otros lados, y especialmente la necesidad de avanzar. Habría que preguntarle a él cuáles fueron sus decisiones, o sea, por qué fue por ese camino, pero es evidente que por ese camino definís de una vez por todas lo que querés y después vas ajustando. Después de todo ya tenés definido el mensaje cuando hiciste eso y luego lo demás es belleza. Lo que pasa es que como él es muy bueno en lo que hace, la belleza que él le pone al resto del trabajo es maravillosa. Yo antes pensaba que Alex Ross tenía todo bajo control en materia de blend y pulido entre colores, y no es así. Me empecé a mirar y a mirar y a mirar, y el tipo tiene una pincelada hasta a veces un poco tosca. He tenido originales de él en la mano y los vi y son así. No son perfectos blending entre un color y el otro, pero el uso del color, la forma en la que el tipo entiende el color, eso es lo que es fantástico. Y eso es lo que hace que tu cabeza no piense si el blend es perfecto o no, básicamente. Este mate está terriblemente frío, para quien quiera saberlo. Horrible, horroroso. Pero bueno, lo preparé, lo dejé ahí y se enfrió. Hola, Jelson. No, Jason, perdón, mi vista ya no da más. No veía la I, veía la E, veía una L. ¿Qué tal, Jason? ¿Cómo te va? Hace un rato yo estaba explicando que probablemente tenga que dejar el streaming pronto porque algunos personajes no están completamente definidos. Eh, Me di cuenta que faltan algunos diseños. tengo la mayoría, pero me falta el del padre, que es muy importante en toda la ilustración. Así que va acá. Y me falta el villano. Se podría llegar a ser igual, pero podría pasar también después que no que me lo hagan cambiar. Entonces yo quiero evitar que me tengan que pedir cambios muy drásticos. Voy a hacer una pausita porque me está doliendo la vista. Ahí tengo dos preguntas. Una de Pablo y una de Simón, que dice que me tiene que dejar ahora, pero si queda grabado el va completo, bueno, Simón, no te preocupes, anda tranquilo, todos tenemos que hacer muchas cosas. Ha sido largo este streaming hasta ahora. Empezó a la una, ya van a ser las 4, ya van casi 3 horas de streaming. Así que lo voy a dejar acá yo también. Te voy a contestar a vos, Pablo. Si me llevó mucho tiempo aprender inglés. Ya, yo no creo saber del todo inglés. Me faltan muchas cosas, especialmente las que tienen que ver con mi profesión. Me faltan palabras que me hacen falta para poder explicar las cosas como me gustan, como hablo así ahora, fluido en castellano. Eh, pero siempre me importó saber inglés, siempre. Y no aprendí en ningún lado. La única vez que fui a una escuela por unos 3 meses, habré ido menos, fue acá, en Estados Unidos. Fuimos a una escuela con mi esposa a aprender. eh, pero no es que aprendí yo una barbaridad. Me parecía buenísimo cómo enseñaban, pero no aprendí tanto. Es algo más de curiosidad que siempre me dio el idioma, y desde las letras de las canciones hasta las películas en idioma original, que nunca me gustaron las traducciones, nunca me gustó el doblaje de las películas. Siempre necesitaba entender cómo eran las voces originales, cómo transmitían los mensajes, cómo actuaban. Y más que nada, entre la música y los cartoons, es donde más me pegó la necesidad de aprender inglés por mi cuenta. Pero no aprendí ni haciendo ninguna de esas tres cosas, ni viendo películas. Viendo películas y series puede ser, pero más tarde. Pero ni las películas, ni los cartoons, ni las letras de las canciones fueron las que me llevaron a aprender, sino fue el cómic. Yo empecé a conseguir cómics que no se conseguían en Argentina, como los de Ren y Stimpy, por ejemplo, y yo no entendía nada. Entonces me empecé a interesar a ver qué decían, porque me quería reír, quería saber de qué hablaban. Y me parecía muy malo no saber, me perdía mucho. Y después, no sé, habían frases que estaban escritas en slang, ¿no? O sea, la que sería el lunfardo. Y por ejemplo, en vez de decir because, decían cus, C-U-Z. Porque eso suena cos. Cos, porque cos es una forma de decir cortita, because. Cause that, cause that, whatever, ¿no? Because of that. Sería, cause you know, porque vos sabés. Entonces, cuando yo leía eso, digo, ¿qué cuerno está diciendo acá? No entiendo lo que está diciendo. ¿Por qué cus? ¿Cus qué palabra es? Y así. Entonces me interesaba, entonces me ponía a buscar en manuales, en diccionarios. Tuve como diccionarios de mano, llegué a tener como tres, y diccionario enciclopédico de inglés, eran dos o tres tomos gordos, gigantescos, con ilustraciones, porque me volvía loco a aprender el idioma. Me parecía fascinante y a medida que me iba metiendo más, decía, mirá cómo, mirá cómo reducen esto, mirá cómo simplifican esto otro. Por supuesto que cuando te chocas con la realidad y ves cómo el idioma hace, cómo funciona, y encontrás todas las locuras que hay en las palabras, ¿no? Los lunfardos, qué sé yo, bueno, ahí. Pero siempre me interesó por mi cuenta y fui aprendiendo lo que pude desde mi investigación, más que nada, más que nada. Por supuesto, leí muchas cosas. Y que yo también me forzaba. Por ejemplo, me compré hace muchos años, cuando antes de que trabajara por esos 5 meses que trabajé en Camelot, la famosa comiquería argentina, yo trabajé 5 meses ahí. Antes de trabajar ahí, yo iba siempre y me conseguía series de televisión en videocassette norteamericano. O sea, conseguí X-Files, por ejemplo, que era muy difícil de conseguir en Argentina. Eh, y tenía montones de temporaditas, pedacitos de temporaditas, todas desarmadas, estaba muy bueno. Y ahí podías entender más o menos de qué iba toda la historia. Era medio complejo el asunto, cómo estaba organizado, pero todo en inglés, nada subtitulado. Entonces dije, bueno, listo, todo bien. Lo escucharé, le prestaré atención y ve qué entiendo y qué no entiendo. Y así como quien mira algo que no abstracto hasta que empieza a tomar forma en tu cabeza. Era como yo miraba las series esa. Y la miraba una y otra vez y otra vez. Y como terminaba 3 videocassettes, que eran como, no sé, como 10 episodios o algo así, volvía otra vez a empezar el ciclo y volvía a verlo y así. Así también lo hice con Star Wars, con Volver al Futuro, con muchas cosas. Pero es hasta el día de hoy que sigo dándome cuenta de cosas que no me daba cuenta antes. Porque uno va agregando vocabulario y dice, ah, mirá, cuando decían eso. Pero bueno, nada. Y ese era mi ejercicio, forzarme a hacer eso que me interesaba y me fascinaba, pero me parecía súper costoso y no teníamos plata para pagar ninguna escuela. Entonces había que hacer lo que se puede hacer. Así que bueno, esa es mi historia, no es la que recomiendo que la gente tenga que hacer. Yo la hice así porque me tocó, pero mejor es ir a estudiar, es mucho mejor. Te ahorraría muchos años. Voy a tratar de pasar a limpio un personaje más y voy a dar por finalizado el stream. Ya lo dije antes, pero voy a tratar de cumplirlo ahora porque sí, ya son 3 horas de streaming. Y no sé quién lo va a ver después, si queda grabado con 3 horas de streaming y más que todavía hay que seguir. O sea, que prefiero seguir otro día, mañana en todo caso, continuarlo hasta el final. Hacemos una parte 2 que forzarlo a que siga hoy y que no termine más que en algunos personajes. Si me tomo un poco más de este mate frío. Terrible. Un horror. Pero bueno, ayuda a despertarse. ¿Qué toman ustedes? ¿Café? ¿Mate? ¿Bebidas de esas que tienen energía y te despiertan? ¿Qué usan ustedes? ¿Qué les gusta más? Y el café es lo más grande del mundo. Yo no puedo tomar tanto café ahora porque lamentablemente me empezó a hacer un poco mal la panza después de tantos años. Pero el café es maravilloso. Qué rico que es el café. La pregunta del rigor. ¿Café con leche? O sea, tipo capuchino, esas cosas. ¿O café negro sin azúcar? Muy importante. Eso habla, eso habla de vos, Pablo, y también de vos, Luis. Habla mucho de tu personalidad. Café con Coca Light sin gas. ¿Qué carajo es eso, Luis? ¿Café con Coca Light? Eso es mega chancho. Si además la Coca ya tiene café, ya tiene cafeína. Black coffee, no sugar. Muy bien. Muy bien. Yo estoy flaqueando ahora. Yo estoy flaqueando. Estoy tomando café con leche. Porque me estaba cayendo mal el café. Muchos años tomando café. Y mi aparato digestivo dijo, che, ¿sabes qué? No, no te banco tanto ahora. No te banco más. Te banqué muchos años, pero creo que ya no. Gracias por tanto café. Pero por ahora paremos. Así que bueno, paré. No me quedó otra que parar. 10 veces más fuerte que el Torito Rojo y el Rápido juntos. Ya sé de qué hablar. Todos sabemos de qué hablar. Claro que es más fuerte, pero tenés que tener en cuenta que el Torito y todo eso, para que el shock de cafeína aparente ser más importante, más fuerte de lo que realmente tienen, ellos le meten mucha azúcar, a pesar que digan que no. Está probado y está en la composición. El azúcar hace que parezca que el shock energético es más brutal, pero en realidad la cafeína que tiene no es tan poderosa. A ver, salvo que te tomes el otro que se llama el monstruo, para decirlo así. El monstruo es medio monstruo. Y ese hay que tener mucho cuidado, porque ese sí que es poderoso. Y nada, yo no lo recomiendo para personas con problemas cardíacos o personas que su rendimiento, o que son muy nerviosas, o su rendimiento físico no es el mejor. Porque, nada, porque puede hacer mal. De verdad, pues. Y los otros que voy a decir, Luis, también pueden hacer mal, ¿eh? El Torito Rojo y el Rápido juntos, depende de la locura que te mandes, cuánto te tomes, te puede hacer muy mal. Hay que tener mucho cuidado porque la cafeína no es un chiste. Se puede consumir, pero hay que ser bastante cuidadoso. No se puede mandarse ahí de una y decir, va, me tomo 8 al hilo para tener la energía. No. Y lo que vos haces, Luis, capaz que es más que mejor en efecto, es mejor en salud. Ahí van quedando, ¿ah? ¿Cómo lo ven ahí? La composición compleja. Son 5 personajes, más todo lo que pasa en el fondo. Pero bueno, va a estar buena. Va a quedar linda, va a quedar divertida. Se la ve muy dinámica. Bueno, muchachos, voy a cerrar con esta hermosa imagen, no la mía, sino la del dibujito. Y voy a cortar acá. Bueno, se las dejo ahí por un ratito. Son 3 personitas nomás las que andan por ahí. Así que vuelvo a la cámara frontal, me despido. Gracias por haber estado. La vamos a seguir. Yo la tengo que continuar la portada, así que la vamos a seguir mañana. La tengo que continuar mañana. Así que si se quieren sumar, decirle a alguien que quiera sumarse, todo es bienvenido. For those who join me in English, as I always say, my English is not the best. I hope you have the patience to understand what I say. But thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me on Instagram here. And yeah, I will continue this cover tomorrow. I think that for now, 3 hours is a lot for a streaming session. So, then as I need more designs, I need a couple more information from the clients. I will left this illustration like this. Again, I'm showing you what I did. The goal is still a completely full illustration like this. You have another figure here and another one here. And I need a little more information for those. And I have all these characters in the background too. So this is what it is. I think so far this has been a lot of fun. And yeah, I think we have the main figures complete and ready to color, but we are going to continue tomorrow with more characters, and after that we will have a coloring session so we can see how this is going to be finished rendering with all the colors and stuff. So thank you very much for being here, and thank you for joining me, and see you tomorrow. Thank you. Bye bye. I say bye bye, but I don't know what I have to push to close there. Yeah.